Hi, and welcome to another edition of Talk Right Today. And today we're going to talk about a devil that comes once in a week, in our lives, and that's your Monday, and that's Monday morning blues, and how to manage it, how to deal with it. I think how to deal with it is more important, is what we're going to discuss. And I have again my colleague, my friend Mayur. Let's talk about it, Mayur. How do you manage Monday morning blues?
Yes. First and foremost, welcome everyone to Talk Right Today. Thankfully, Santosh, today is not a Monday.
Yeah,
Thank God. So, can you imagine the kind of sort of
stress.
psychological impact,
Yeah,
the stress and the happiness that today is not a Monday?
yeah.
I remember as a kid, and this is probably, I speak for a lot of people here, including you. Monday in school, going to school on a Monday used to be one of the worst things here.
Hmm.
And I remember creating certain excuses for not going to school, which would even baffle my mom.
Hmm.
And just because I was so creative, in some sense, she would say, Acha, theek hai. But then she would ask me, what is it, beta? Why? Why is it that you don't want to go to school? And in my mind, though I didn't want to say to her, it's only Monday, nothing else. And I feel that even corporate professionals, though they may not say it on the face, ask a lot of
Go
your
through the
friends
same
and
pain. Yeah,
they go through almost the same thing. Probably their creativity comes down
yeah,
to give excuses, but they still feel. And one of the things that I've learned, and believe you me, I'm fighting this not to that extent, to be honest, because I'm on my own. For me, every day is a beautiful Sunday.
hmm.
But I think for people who go to office or who work for an organization, which, and I'm speaking for a large mass of audience, I believe the word Monday has another word that sounds like a Monday, which comes as a barrier as well, and that is mundane.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes work becomes so mundane, so
hmm.
monotonous, so boring that you don't feel the excitement to go and work. And please don't mind, viewers, I'm not saying this as a very generalized, sure shot statement. I'm speaking in terms of this feeling that may arise in many of us because we do similar things, same things, on and on and
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
What I feel, Santosh, is that, you know, why Monday then? Because if work is mundane and boring, then every day should be a Monday in that sense. But why
true.
Monday is because there is a Saturday, there is a Sunday, and there is one of the best days of the week, a Friday evening.
Yeah,
You ask yourself how a Friday evening is, and that's the best because you look towards that 2 day, time with your family, with your friends, with yourself. But then again the rigmarole of the week starts. I think
yeah,
that gap, which is a great gap, and then when you look at again, यार अभी वापस वही शुरू हो गया यार मंडे
hmm.
का. So I of course I'm looking at why it happens, but I think in this session I would like you to also share, and we can look at what we can do to deal with this, and
Yeah,
maybe some of your tips will help me as well on how to
yeah,
deal with that Monday morning blue, a
yeah.
dark blue at that.
So typically, right, Mayur, if you really look back and think what is it that creates that barrier of that Monday, is there are certain key issues or key problems possibly which may creep up again on a Monday. Okay, because by Friday evening, almost 99.99% of your organization or your employees or your colleagues are already in a weekend mode. So no one would love to take up an issue. But Monday, come first thing, this starts. So that is the key thing. So one is listed down. What I would do, or anyone generally would do and should do, I think, is Friday evening before you leave office, before you step
Mm,
out, take 10 minutes off and just when you're in office, not when you go home, when you're in office,
mm,
just make a list of these key issues that bother you on the weekend or may
mhm,
bother you on the weekend. List them out. That's one. Identify the issue. If there are any meetings that you possibly want to, organize because there's a very, a particular issue that you want to discuss, that meeting be lined up not on a Monday morning, but maybe in the later part of Monday. That's a better way
okay,
to deal with it. That's one.
okay, okay.
The third thing I would say is typically for Mondays to be managed is keep your Mondays as much from your side light. You know what I mean? Don't need to rush everything on a Monday. There is a Tuesday and a Wednesday in life. So take care of it.
True.
If there are stakeholders sending you invites for certain key meetings on a Monday morning at 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
remember you always have a right to reject and give a reason for it. So you can
Okay.
manage the Monday because this whole botheration is not about frankly the Monday, but it really kickstarts peaks by Saturday afternoon, but the peak comes by Sunday evening. So you got to manage that, and it's all about managing that.
Okay.
That's the way I would,
Okay.
really
Okay.
suggest. Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to bring a different perspective to this as well, and the perspective here, which is sort of connected to what you said, is stress.
Yeah.
And this is from my experience. I've felt and experienced this feeling of stress, expectations, uh, the whether will I be able to do many things that I plan to do. In fact, like you said, sometimes I don't even plan. In fact, I want to start off with that and reiterate that point you brought out is how many of us really list down what we intend to do from the week starting Monday,
Yeah.
and listing is not a mental activity as much as it should be something that you write down. It requires an effort. I know a lot of people who plan in their mind, which is a natural thing,
Hmm.
but I always say to them, I say to myself, if I were to travel to Goa from Pune, and if I were to go, if I have a plan, I would prefer that I write down a few places I want to go, especially if the place that I'm going is further ahead. So, mapping is very important, if you know what I'm saying. So, for example, we stop over at this place for lunch. So I'm not saying you got to write everything, but at least the main things that you intend to do, whether it's going to go or a place or on a Monday, I think that helps in decreasing stress.
Yeah.
Because
True.
because when you go to on a Monday, and not very sure what is going to happen, like you said, if there are three meetings aligned but you don't know exactly what time they are, but you know there are three meetings, that can create stress. Then there are meetings within which there are aspects you need to talk about, you need to probably
Bring out.
bring
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So much to do, and if you're not doing, and a word that comes to me which has happened to me is procrastination.
Hmm.
Sometimes we want to do it, we want to do it on a Friday, on a Thursday, that Monday ka mere ko plan karna hai.
Hmm.
But when the Friday happens, when you go home, there are so many beautiful priorities
Yeah.
that sitting down and writing many a times becomes a problem. And
Yeah.
I think that if we can do something by which we reduce stress, where your listing
When
comes as
you're
an
in
important
office,
factor
when you're in
when you're in
office,
office.
before you leave, yeah, you should do
Okay,
that.
so that's a good point. Don't
Yeah.
try not to make the listing when you go home, because when you go
Impossible.
home, the whole context changes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
Impossible.
give some time on a Friday to list down what you need to do on a Monday.
Exactly.
I think that's a fantastic point, practical point, but it requires an effort.
Yeah, you got to
You
make
know.
a very concerted effort. There's another one I would do, and there's something that I prefer, personal choice for me.
Mhm.
I prefer to reach a little early on a Monday morning in the office, even if it's
Okay.
15 minutes early. It makes sense because you really have settled down. You've taken stock of whatever little few emails you possibly may have received over the weekend,
Yeah.
and you're in a much better placed situation, because by the time the flooding of the email, the reason where coming from is there are a lot of people who work on the weekends. They may not send your emails, they may keep it in draft mode. So you can imagine Saturday, Sundays,
Yeah.
Monday morning, as soon as they log in, everybody clicks and it's out of the outbox and it's in your
Yes. Yeah.
inbox. So you got to
Yes.
take a deep breath and, oh my god, there it
True.
is. So I think
True. True.
reaching in a little earlier can make a difference.
Santosh, I want to take this point, absorb this point, and if you allow me, I could apply this particular point. Why only for a Monday? In fact, when
Exactly.
we do time management
Yeah.
sessions, when I talk to people, this is exactly what I tell them is that make some space early in the day. If your office starts at 9, try to be there half an hour before. I know
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's not practical,
Yeah.
but if it is possible, go early, because like you said, it actually becomes a de-stressor, because you're planning for the day in the office itself is also an important aspect.
True.
It sort of decreases the load of
Yeah.
activities that you want to do when you write it down. I think in addition, I want to bring this aspect, though it's very sort of close to stress management. I
Hmm.
do feel that um, on weekends, despite your time with your family, with your friends, give some time to also do some deep breathing. I know
Hmm.
we've talked about this in some other sessions we've done, but deep breathing is an aspect which can help in calming the mind.
Yeah.
Remember, the person who looks at a Monday, and when he looks at it, he gets a little anxious, and if he's not able to reduce his anxiety,
Yeah.
that can affect, and that can make him, or that can, in our words, awaken the blues of the Monday, because
Yeah.
he's already getting a little nervous about it. So reducing the stress by deep breathing. And I want to be more specific. When I say deep breathing, when you're inhaling, you got to count 4 seconds as you're inhaling. Once you've inhaled, you hold your breath and hold it counting, say 8 seconds, 8. And then when you release your breath through your nostrils, keep your mouth closed, you release it counting 6 seconds. Do this cycle at least 3 times. It'll calm you. And I think the listing, the planning, the prioritizing for a Monday and maybe for the week will become far better. Yeah. I think
Absolutely.
organizing the mind will help you to organize your work.
Yeah.
That's where I come from. And I
Absolutely.
think breathing will help you to do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So on your weekends, you must unplug from the regular monotonous BAU of those last 5 odd days and
Yeah.
sleep well. You got to get that, because that's the time it's your me time from away
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
your
It's
office.
true.
So these
That's a
key
good point.
tips, I think, can make a lot of difference. And got to manage the Monday. And remember, you're not the only one in the world having these Monday morning blues.
Yeah.
The whole world has it, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I,
about managing and dealing
Absolutely.
with it.
I just think that whoever coined the word Monday morning blues, I don't know why blue, because blue is a very vibrant color here.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Correct.
mundane. There's nothing mundane about blue. In fact, be excited about. I would want to reach a point where I say I'm looking forward to the blues of a Monday here.
Yeah. True.
I think it's how we look at it. And एक तो मुझे पता है संतोष, कितना भी blue red कुछ भी होने दो, जाना तो है.
Exactly. End of the day. Yeah.
End of the day, you have to go.
Yeah.
So go with an attitude which is positive, proactive, progressive, excited, because
Yeah.
you have to go. See, रोते जाना है या हंसते जाना है, जाना तो है भाई.
Yeah.
So, and this is how I pep myself up, and with that, like you said, planning, listing, organizing, deep breathing, having proper sleep, so important for the organs of the body, including the brain, to get the rest.
True.
And I think these things, even if our viewers will follow, I think the blues will become more beautiful.
True. In fact, I would like to end this session on a very different note, on a lighter note. So I know a friend of mine who has taken this Monday morning blues to a different level altogether. So whenever he resigns from any organization, right, he only makes it a point to resign on a Monday morning. So I mean, which is very exciting to know.
So I think he ends up giving the blues to his bosses.
Absolutely. So on that note, viewers, thank you once again for joining me and Mayur on this another edition of Talk Right Today. Your emails always appreciated, which is on talkrighttoday@gmail.com. From me and Santosh and of course Mayur, thank you so much for joining in.
Have a motivational Monday.